When a man asks how he can take a strong position in a relationship, not by forcing or controlling someone, but truly standing firm, it's important to remind him, only a predator can do that, not someone who's passive. Today, we'll explore the mindset of a predator, the principles that shape his identity. The first and most crucial idea, in my opinion, is that a relationship can only exist on your terms, no exceptions. If your terms aren't respected, then the relationship no longer exists. Often things are wrapped up in nice words like, relationships require compromise. That's the only way everyone can be happy. But you've already been misled. That's the mindset of the passive type. What does compromise mean from a woman's perspective? It's often the chance to bend the rules, to push boundaries, to do things that you might not be okay with. They simply label it compromise. No, no, no. What does compromise mean to me? For me, it's something I might agree to, might under certain conditions, but I don't have to. That's what's important for a man. I can choose not to compromise. It's my decision. I'm the one in control. If your situation is different, then the conclusion is obvious. Next, a predator can't be scared by anything. Not breakups, not threats, not someone leaving, or jealousy or drama. It just doesn't work. A predator has one solid response, a way of thinking. If something happens that could trigger jealousy or emotional outbursts, the predator doesn't lose it. He assesses the situation calmly and asks, why? What's the point? What's the reason? The moment you let your emotions take over, you become vulnerable. But if something comes up and you're not afraid, then you start asking, does this fit with what I want? Does this align with my rules? Can a predator compliment a woman? Of course. Why not? We shouldn't twist the meaning here. Some guys assume I mean some aggressive alpha gorilla stereotype. Not at all. One action can appear many different ways depending on its motive. Take something as simple as giving flowers. The same gesture can have many outcomes. One man gives flowers as the woman's leaving, one meaning. Another gives them after an argument, a different meaning. Another gives them after she hints that someone else gave her flowers. One does it just because he feels like it. The consequences vary greatly. That's why I emphasize not just rules or actions, but inner clarity and attitude. Here's another key difference between the passive and the predator. Let's say you were dating someone for a month, a few nice dates, and suddenly she starts pulling away, goes cold, avoids you. The passive mindset makes you chase her instantly. The predator? He does nothing. Why would he? If she's creating distance, she's not reciprocating your effort, not investing, acting shady. Why would a predator chase after that? He's not going to catch anything good in that mess. What matters is that you live by these principles, not just nod in agreement while watching. You must internalize these ideas and practice them in your real-life relationships and dating experiences until they become part of your core. Right now, maybe you're forcing yourself. Later, it'll become natural. And so, taking on the predator's role removes almost all issues a man might face. Name a problem in relationships. I can tell you why a predator doesn't face it. Go ahead. Name me any relationship difficulty, and I'll explain why a predator won't experience it. The first one that probably comes to mind is the love triangle. For example, a man gets involved with a married woman who's supposedly almost divorced, or maybe someone else shows up in the picture. And what does the man do? He waits. He hopes. He believes she'll come to her senses and choose him. Could a predator end up in this kind of mess? Absolutely not. He either avoids it from the start or walks away from it quickly. Why? Because it's not happening on his terms. Or if he does enter briefly, he vanishes fast. He doesn't stick around for 5 years. Maybe she comes back later and chooses him, but that's on her. It's not a prize for him. It's just something that happens. The real win is that he didn't chase her. Now take a situation inside marriage. Arguments, drama, Shouting matches? How did it even get that far? Two options: either the woman already had a tendency for this behavior, or she learned it was advantageous to act this way because she was allowed to. Either way, it's a result of the passive mindset. You can't hide your internal programming. A predator's energy is always obvious to women. They read him instantly. I remember when my own shift happened, between the ages of 18 and 21. By 21, even the way I looked at women changed. It wasn't out of anger. No, it was just a completely different perspective. And when it comes to the passive type, no matter how much he pretends, how hard he tries to manipulate or copy the image of strength, women sense it. They test him, prod him, and figure him out. That's why I always tell men, you must integrate the predator's mindset into your life. Guys ask questions during live streams like, what if she earns more money than me? Isn't that bad? And I say, think like a predator. So what if she makes more? What does that change? Does it upset you? Do you feel insecure? Even if it does, what does the predator do? He finds a solution, one way or another. Either it doesn't bother him at all, or if it does, he makes a change. He doesn't sulk. He doesn't feel small. If the income gap is a deal breaker, then he chooses not to be in that relationship from the start. Problem solved. It's all about having a winning mindset, one that seeks resolution, not confusion or emotional spirals. Some criticize me for giving advice on how to revive relationships. A man's wife leaves. Should he give up? End it? It can be done differently. It is possible to get her back, but only by evolving into a predator. And what's better than using a painful situation to transform yourself? Yes, sometimes a man isn't ready. He doesn't want change. That happens. But I don't usually take on those cases. It's honestly discouraging when someone reaches out with a question like, do you think she'll definitely come back? Because that's not a question from strength. It's coming from a defeated mindset, from someone who's not prepared to take real action. In those cases, I give a clear answer. If you're ready to give up right now, go ahead. But there's no point in reaching out with that kind of mentality. If you're stuck on questions like, will she return? You've already lost. That thinking leads nowhere. Nothing you do will change the outcome. And here's the truth. There's no magic switch to instantly transform from passive to predator. It doesn't work that way. Think of the gym. Every man feels nervous the first time he approaches his max weight. But with repetition, with challenge, you overcome that fear. You build strength, mentally and physically. It's the same here. Only through daily, consistent actions, small steps today, tomorrow, and the next day, can you build the foundation every man needs. Let's say you wanted to talk to a girl and didn't. Not because you didn't care, but because you did care and gave up. You lost, or maybe you started chatting online. She pulled away and you clung harder, lost again, or you went on 3 dates and then she ghosted you. Now you're sitting, hurting, overthinking, and again, you lost. You're sitting there, suffering, overthinking, and yes, at that point, you've already lost. And not because of her, not because she's somehow better. You lost to yourself. In just a tiny amount of time, you managed to romanticize her looks or something else about her. I don't even know what exactly, but it doesn't matter. It's the same story with exes. Let's say she's giving you the silent treatment, or she's keeping her distance. And while you sit there, stuck in your thoughts, watching her online activity, wondering what she's doing, you keep losing. Over and over, we're moving in the wrong direction, and our actions shape who we are. That's why when we start acting differently, we change. There's no secret to this. That's the thing. Everyone's always chasing some secret, but there isn't one. You already know where your weakness is. You already know what needs to be done. The problem is, very few people have the willpower to actually do it. And so, yet again, in this video, I'm giving you a metaphorical push, a wake-up call. This is the main message, the key recommendation. The moment your principles become more important than your fear of losing a woman, even when you're attached to, that's when you're on the right path. When breaking your code of values feels worse, feels unacceptable, compared to letting someone go, you know you're becoming stronger. That's the moment you must keep moving forward. And most of the so-called relationship problems with women, they'll start solving themselves because your foundation is strong. That's the first level. That's where it begins. Forget the manipulative tricks. Forget the schemes. None of that matters if you haven't taken this very first step. Now hit the like button and stay tuned for the next video.